All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to another episode of Whiskey
and
Real Estate.
How we feeling?
Hey, it's a busy. It's been a busy week. It's a hot week, that's for sure. Definitely a hot week.
It's hot outside. It's hot inside.
Yep.
We're gonna lose some weight. Speaking of losing weight, I found out I am at my lowest since 2022. I am down to 204. I average like 220. At my worst, I was at 240. So,
goodness.
I haven't
Good
drank for like 3 weeks or whenever the last episode was. So,
oh man,
Whiskey Wednesdays are my only drink days now. I probably will drink on my birthday this Saturday. Yep. And then I stopped buying potato chips. I used to buy like 2-3 bags a day. Haven't bought a bag in like a month.
Change your habits.
It feels good. It feels good.
Is there a reason why you only drink on Wednesdays, though?
Because we have whiskey and real estate.
What happened to the other days?
So let's talk about we have a reoccurring guest here, Elias Aboodeley. I'll actually let him do his own introduction.
You said it right that time. We always say Elias. You said Elias.
Yes,
he did say it right.
That is respect.
How many years? I don't know. How many years?
So how many years you been waiting on this moment?
I know.
Hey, so I'll let you do the introduction over there, my friend.
Yeah. So my name's Elias Aboodeley. Aboodeley.
Yeah.
Owner EA Homes. Lucas and I have known each other for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Done some business together. I'm working on some things coming up as well too. And
yep, owner of EA Homes, and he is an investor that has turned and burned 20, 30 houses probably. So
nice.
Easily,
yeah. So yeah, he understands the investment side. He understands the flip side. He understands the Airbnb side. So he's underselling himself when he just says I'm the owner of EA Homes, because that is not just his title. That's kind of his life. So it just branches over to real estate.
Nice. Well, we got a few things to talk about. We did a lot of talking before the show. Elias, where were you just traveling from? Let's talk about that.
Oh man, so we started off randomly in Galena for a couple days. Got a tour of the Galena Inn, where we met who may or may not have been the owner or owner's brother's wife or whatever, and things like that. Was definitely an interesting story for off camera. But needless to say, that's, I guess, one thing I'll talk about, that ties into real estate a little bit is, we stayed at the Irish, I don't know, Lucas recommended it when we went down there.
Yeah, it's like the Dutch Inn or something like that. I can't remember.
Irish Dutch Inn, something like that. And, that place had, the parking lot was full of people. And in comparison to how nice this Galena Inn actually was, the rooms and, just the architecture, apparently they tried to update it, give it a modern and like the showers and things like that were all, redone with tile. And I just didn't like some of the things that they tried to do to make it modern. Because, you have a historical property like that and you're keeping 90% of it original. What are you actually doing? I'm looking for the clawfoot tub. I'm looking for, maybe something to update that, like a movable fixture. Put a steam shower in there. Don't destroy your structure.
Right.
Make it where you can, bring back the value of that, because once it's gone, it's gone, and you can go get tile a dime a dozen and things like that. We ended up staying in one of the converted barns loft, which was actually like they did that one right, because you're not really going to convert a barn into anything. So it was super nice, and they had a little outdoor area with a hot tub and things of that nature. Like I said, one of the most interesting off-camera experiences that I've ever had when it came to how we got into that position. But the topic is brought up because at the end of the day, you take a look at a place like that in comparison to, sure, like when you walk around, when you walk into like the Irish Cottage Inn or whatever it is, like the architecture and just the things in there, it's really, really nice. But the rooms are fairly basic, okay?
So, when the guy designed that hotel, the Irish Inn or the Irish Cottage, whatever it is.
I think it's Irish Cottage.
Yeah, they got a really nice place to eat in there as well. And we were talking to one of the owners, and he brought all that in from Dublin. Basically, all the architecture stuff that was in there when he built it, he brought it in from Dublin, Ireland. And so he wanted to really, put his namesake on it, because, I mean, you can see some of the pictures and some of the architect stuff that he was talking about, which part of Dublin this came from and what building. And so very, very cool when you walk into the place.
So here's to my point, like the difference is that place I found off of hotels.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was based on his recommendation. I was like, oh, I remember that, okay? So that's marketing. That's like getting on different things like through an Expedia network and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Where there's a third party that's not just your website, and if you're not having the marketing to do that. So then when we stayed over at the other place, there was 2 people in the entire place. And it was a shame because it was no comparison, and for less or the same price. But I never would have went to that place or looked at that place just for the simple fact it's called the Galena Inn, and I don't want to stay at a Roach Motel.
Right.
Thanks.
And
Yep.
I'd rather stay at a Holiday Inn.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know Galena was code for a roach.
And so you went from Galena to Daytona. Did you come home in between then?
Well, we came home for like a day, and then I got asked, figure out what we're going to do tonight. So I just booked a flight, and it was supposed to be a day trip. And then, we ended up with a little bit more time on our hands and ended up staying until we just got back here this morning. And that's another thing, like Daytona and all the business owners and things of that nature that are just, it's dead. It's a ghost town. There was nobody there, and I've never seen Daytona like that. It wasn't until you got across the bridge in Ormond Beach that there was actually signs of life. There's a really great seafood place there called Hall Seafood, and there were actually cars and traffic and things of that nature, but like the bars were dead. And it's just become really, really run down, and there's no rhyme or reason for it within the last couple of years. And most of like the bartenders and things of that nature, they all said the same thing. It's just the last couple of years. And I remember I stopped going there just for the simple fact that it just got weird at one point in time after COVID. Like there were people like walking up and down the boardwalk and things like that, like protesting, and they called them bomb threats. There were cops all over the place. And, I would go down there like 2-3 times a month, back in, before that. And this is the first time I'd been there in a couple of years. So, it's...
So you go to 2 very big tourist attraction areas. When you hear the names in central part of the United States and you say Galena, everyone talks about the beauty and the structure and, the historic nature. Then you go to a complete opposite tourist attraction, Daytona Beach in Daytona, and you got what used to be the getaway for spring break and the summers and stuff like that. Compare and contrast the cost of stay, all that.
It's the same. It was the same, and you're near an ocean, and you get the ocean there, or you get a little bit of water, in Galena. But Galena is more like of a place you go like on a date and things like that. But Daytona used to be you go there to hang out on the beach and go do whatever, and they have like literally 3-4 strip clubs like right there, next to the oyster place, and then Coyote Ugly and everything else, and then you would see like. Most of these businesses now are only open 2-3 days a week. And it was the craziest thing to me because I was used to like, there's traffic. You're up and down the A1A all the time. We stayed at the Hilton the first couple nights, and I told everyone that worked there, I said, this isn't a Hilton, it's a Motel 6. I go, at least you left a light on for me.
Right.
Maybe that's the
I
problem.
would have put you out.
Management never called me.
So you mentioned that the prices were the same, even though the traffic was less than you've ever seen, and I feel like you guys will have the most insight on that when it comes to real estate and property. Like these businesses can't afford to go down on prices. Like you mentioned, now they're only open 2-3 days a week, and that's probably because of staffing and labor. And if we don't have the traffic, we can't pay people to stand here, and we're not bringing in any income. With a place like that, would you ever own property, or with what you just seen, is it an absolute no now?
I don't understand like what the difference is between, they were talking about, now most people just go down to Orlando, or they go down to Miami, or they go down to, whatever, and Daytona's just kind of, I guess, run its course.
Damn.
It's like it's kind of a ghost town. It really is.
Well, in Daytona tried this last 2 years to kind of change their philosophy of how it was, because they relied so much on spring break and then Daytona when the races were going on, and but everyone else stepped up their game and gave them a reason to go out that way. Because I've spent some time in Florida, years in Florida. Back and forth between here and Iowa, and it's one of those things that Omar and I would, we'd venture into Fort Lauderdale, we'd go down to Miami, and then we always talked about going to Daytona, but it was always over flooded when I'd go down to, it was spring break. So Miami was just as popping as Daytona was, and Miami was from Port St. Lucie only like 25, 30 minutes. So, but then they started putting restrictions. COVID killed a lot of stuff down there. They're bouncing back. The metropolitan areas like Jacksonville, Daytona, they all took big hits because they were such a low, like they were the Miami, Port St. Lucie, the Keys, those are all more higher end tourists. It wasn't so much the college kids or anything that was going back down there, unless you got on South Beach. But then you had a big mixture of everything on South Beach. You had your Haitians, your Puerto Ricans, your college kids, then you had your very wealthy, you had then a sprinkle in of everyone that was trying to mix in, that got money for the weekend.
I remember, I think it might have been like 2-3 years ago, but Daytona did a commercial, like a nationwide commercial, saying like they were breaking up with spring breakers and like trying to get away from it being a tourist attraction. Because it was just getting, like, the beaches were just so dirty, and the parties and people were getting aggressive and violent. And, like, it sounds like that might have destroyed
They
them.
really, really hurt themselves.
They killed themselves with that.
We
Do
actually,
what you're good at.
For real.
Seriously. And in real estate, where you see people fail is when people try to get out of their lane. If you got something that's worked for you and is working for you, stay something similar.
Years.
Yeah, stay similar to it.
You trying to tell me something, Lucas?
No, you're a rinse and repeat. In the best positive manner. He found out what worked for him. He took a break from it, and then he came back to what was working for him. And so you've always taken properties and did a spin on it. Like, one thing I like about Elias's properties is his properties have his own touch on them. When you walk in, it's his, because he likes some high-end tiles. He likes some of the nice countertops. He always has, like he was talking about with Galena Inn, he likes the steam showers or a sauna or something that's going to separate it from your average rental.
Yep.
And it shows. He does the Airbnb on a couple of his properties right now, and I'm like, man, you're only about 40% full on some of these, but then you see what it's bringing in because of what he has to offer in these properties. He only needs to be 40% full because it's still generating more than the other properties. So, it makes complete sense on what you do, and you know your strengths, and you stick to your strengths. So, I made
a couple of adjustments. This mic is like right in your face. I'm sorry, Monica. No,
it's all right.
Share mics.
I can hear you guys.
All right. Sorry about that.
So investors out there, do what you know, or get with the people that know what they're doing. That's the other thing that you do, and don't try to change your whole business model unless your current business model is failing. But if you're doing something successful, keep a pulse on it. Definitely keep a pulse on it.
Thanks. So let's get to what we do. Every episode we talk about our
the market.
daily market. What whiskey we're drinking. I gotta talk about Tones Week, and then I wanna piggyback off what you were talking about with just like your hotel experience. We haven't talked about like historic properties and how that affects your purchase and land. So that'll probably be what we focus on. But I'd like to hear today's market, but not from Lucas. Let's hear from Elias.
Today's market. So actually, I've been kind of paying attention to the market a little bit closer now.
Bring that mic a little closer to you too. Thank you.
Trying to figure out, what exactly is I want to do, if anything. I've kind of cleaned up a lot of the things around me to try to determine like whether or not I want to go one direction or another, do nothing, stay status quo. so on and so forth. And what I'm seeing though is because I've actually put in some bids on some properties here, and they're foreclosures, of course, and some of them I was like, if I was a little bit more serious right this second, maybe I would make that an extra jump. But I'm seeing more and more foreclosures pop up, and they're coming across the board in all spectrums. And I kind of figured that might be the case after we, got, a little bit further when people were holding on to their money and things that we talked about that in one episode. People were scared to invest last year because they didn't know who the president was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The interest rates went up, and if you were relying on bank money, it didn't make sense to buy some of these things, and that's where I kind of came back around. So as far as today's market goes, I don't know. I see there's some opportunity there, but I also see that there's also an opportunity to overpay for things to where I won't make an investment unless it's something that I look back on 10 years and I can get it for the same money, because then you really can't lose at that point.
Yep.
And as far as from a real estate sales standpoint, I put up a couple properties here recently with Lucas to kind of kick him down the road. And I'm just like, personally, I'm not going to invest any more money that I haven't already invested without the money coming back. So I'll recycle the money. I'm not investing any more into it at this point until I decide what I want to do when I grow up.
Not bad at that. So you tapped into buying foreclosure properties. What's the process like? Do you need to be a part of any certain club or anything to attend an auction for houses, or to get a list of foreclosed houses, or how do you get involved in something like that?
Well, I mean, if you go to the sheriff's auction, usually it's who you know.
It's exactly it's exactly
We know a guy.
Yeah, we do.
You know the right people.
And he'll either let you have one or not, because he's already pretty much got it worked out. Call it underhanded or not, but
Call it what you
I've
want.
never won a auction at the sheriff's place firsthand.
Yeah, there's about 3 groups that come into those sheriff sales and they monopolize them. They decide before the sheriff sales starting which one's going to buy.
Exactly. Yeah.
What?
And so I'll get a call from a couple investors. He's like, "It's my turn this week." He goes, "So I need you to run numbers. What is this going to bring in this area?" He goes, "Is it worth the buy that they got it at it?" Now, going off piggybacking what Elias was saying is, we've talked about it the last 2 episodes of foreclosures are starting to pick up, and that's where the market's been going. And they have. The sheriff sale list was doubled what it normally was this last week. So sheriff sale is when someone's defaulted and the bank's they're just selling it, and the banks gives $1. They need this dollar amount or more for this thing to sell. So it gets into like an auction there. And in the Cedar Rapids market, there's a great opportunity for it. And with that being said, though, it is what you know and who you know, because they are taking turns buying and they'll bid the next guy out of it. And they'll just both say, "Hey, it's still your turn next week. We're just not going to let this new group come in and start buying some properties unless they want to overpay for the property." Now, with that being said, it is Shark Week, and Shark Week's my favorite week of the month, or favorite week of the year, and it is also the same thing that goes on with my investors. This is the week that every investor needs to start posturing themselves, positioning themselves to buy, making deals that they can at this point in time, because we are probably 30 days or less of a decent rate drop is what I'm going to be predicting on that. And when that happens, every investor is going to buy because it's what they've been waiting for. So right now, snatch doors, if you can snatch doors, but snatch doors that you're okay holding on to for the next 2 years. Even if it's just breaking even, get yourself some doors right now, because those values and appreciation is going to go out of control as soon as rates drop. Yes, it's great when rates drop for buyers to get a lower rate, but what the buyers aren't also seeing is that's also going to stir this market. Prime example, and Manika can vouch for this. This last 2 weeks have been crazy of me just stacking buyers. I mean, I made a list of them 2 days ago, and I had a whole row going down a whole page, and then another column of just buyers that are just sitting there and waiting. And I'm showing them houses. showed 13 houses yesterday. And it's one of those. We were in Iowa City today. You know, we're checking out, and you're starting to see the traffic pick up in Iowa City now because college starts. So turnover starts July 3rd in Iowa City. It ends August 3rd is when they have to be completed by, because that's when everyone starts moving in. And sure as shit, investors are calling. They're like, okay, what's going on? And we predicted this 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And so it's a posturing time right now. This is where investors need to posture, position themselves, and start finding doors. Because once rates start to drop, all the investors are going to come out of the woodwork. And it's going to be a bidding war on everything you get. And then values are going to go up, and now the margins are going to shrink.
Yeah.
The one thing that's been continued to grow is rent prices. I mean, we're getting rent prices right now that I never thought we would get. We filled 2 properties today that a year ago we would have probably got $1,500 a month. Mm-hmm. We're getting $22,000 to $2,000 a month on these.
Man.
Oh, and they're full day one. I mean, we're like rushing our handyman to get done.
Yeah.
And that's not a lie. We walked through yesterday on a property, and they're like, oh shit. And it was with this group that wants to rent, and they're like, can you be ready by Friday? I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get this handyman in and out of this place. But again, with that being said, this is where the people like Elias of the worlds can really benefit too, because he's also got some properties he wants to get rid of to free up to buy other stuff. So I think this next 3 weeks is going to be just posturing, and then, you know, as soon as we get mid-August, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get nuts. That's my prediction. I could be wrong because I've never had a buyer's list like this. We also have a lot of sellers going on right now. So 3 out of the 4 houses that I walked the list this week were all pre-foreclosure. So that people need to get selling. They're like, okay, Lucas, you're the only one that's going to get this thing sold in the next 35 days, and I need to be in and out of this thing. So
you said pre-foreclosure?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they've got the notice that the foreclosure is going to start, and or it's already started, and here's the end date of this foreclosure. And of course, they always wait until there's like about 35 to 40 days in a foreclosure process.
You knew.
And that could take up to 8 months to 2 years, a foreclosure process. And everyone waits until the last 60 days and expects me to work miracles on this stuff. So, we were going to walk a property right after this, and the gal was the same thing. She's like, okay, I have 42 days to be out of this house, and I don't want a foreclosure to happen on my record. I'm like, well, but that's when my investors can get deals. They're like, okay, we'll keep you out of foreclosure, but we're only paying this.
Yeah, I was about to say, yes, you don't want it on your record, but like once it's in foreclosure, you will make nothing on the property, right?
Well, I get paid regardless as a realtor, but
the homeowner.
So here's the benefit to this: people that are entering foreclosures and people that are and investors out there, you need to pay attention on this end of it. Yes, you can. If we get an offer in place with a purchase agreement in place, we can send that over to the bank, even if it's below what they owe. The bank doesn't want to lose money, but they also don't want to lose. Their goal is to minimize their risk and minimize their losses. Mm-hmm. So if you get a purchase agreement, even though we know you owe $92,000, we're bringing you an offer at $80,000. And the bank's probably going to take that 80 because they didn't think they were going to make anything because this person hasn't paid a dime in 2 years to us.
But is it settled, or do they owe that $12,000 still? Like, is that going to go on their report?
It all depends what they agree upon. If they agree upon a short sale, they're both forgiving the rights of that loan. So if you got this dollar amount, they're saying, okay, we're signing off. We're settling with you at this dollar amount. So
foreclosures are a lick because you're going to get the property at lower than what it's worth. Mm-hmm. They're going to get out of having it on their record and having to owe as long as it's the right deal. Yeah, I imagine there's some deals where it's like, no, you're going to owe the bank still $20,000, but you know you're not going to owe them $92,000.
So you got foreclosures and bankruptcies that appear on your credit report, and a bankruptcy and a foreclosure will stay on your credit report for 7 years. A bank won't touch you or lend to you if you have a foreclosure, and it takes 3 years for them to be able to touch you.
I've got a loophole.
Yeah,
that's why we have this podcast.
Yep. In a bankruptcy, it's the same thing. Most banks won't touch you for 3 years, and then that's where you talk to your investors, because investors will touch you in that time frame. So, what is your loophole here?
Well, I mean, if somebody wants to talk to me about this loophole.
Here's my consulting number.
I can't. I'm not hard to find.
We were trying to get a viral moment on
No,
the podcast.
we're not doing all that. You know,
Here's the loophole,
that's very
guys.
valuable information.
You hear this first.
You know, for the right consultation fee, processing fee, and no, I've gotten several of my friends that had bad credit, and people that I trust into homes.
He has.
Just based on and one of them actually had just filed bankruptcy the year before. So I mean, there is definitely a way. Right now, it just all depends on. Sometimes it's not what you know; it's who you know, and the process to make it make sense. And if you have somebody that you trust that will go through the process, then it's not that difficult to get it done, because when you buy a home for an individual, it's a lot easier to typically get that done than an investor walking and trying to buy a house. So I just had a buddy buy his second property from me, and it was kind of one of those things where the criteria that's needed, but initially he wouldn't be able to get in a house because he'd been renting and things like that. So but anybody that I did this for still either has their house or sold their house and was able to get a second one. And fun fact, the guy that had just filed bankruptcy, he sold his place 2 years after the fact and got into a different place. I'm not saying that he was any better with balancing his checkbook, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's still alive and kicking in his second property. This is after he just filed the bankruptcy, so there's a process in place, and once you get reestablished back, the point of filing a bankruptcy is, you'll start getting credit card offers, almost immediately after you file a bankruptcy, and it's what they see on that paper, but you've got to prove now you have this available or that available or so on and so forth. So, if all of a sudden you file a bankruptcy, then you happen to have an asset that's worth, and this is kind of my little sneak peek here, you happen to have an asset that on paper looks like you own, that is worth $150,000, there's some bank that's going to touch you. So that's a little.
You may or may not know that bank.
Or you may or may not, be able to teach several banks to do that, because I had to do that, because if one won't play, let me tell you and school you to the game on another. So it's just getting the right loan officer, to understand what it is you're trying to accomplish, and then working to get them to play ball with you.
Do you think it comes down to the policy or more the person, the loan officer themselves? Have you, in your experience, been able to see some situations that you're able to bend a couple of rules?
I mean, maybe, but usually you have to have some type of relationship with that bank. You know what I mean? Or have someone that has a relationship with that bank. And I ran into a buddy of mine that's an electrician not too long ago, and I did his first house with him, and now he's, on to his 15th, and I hadn't seen him for a while, and he said, thanks to you, I was able to get into this. He kind of showed me the ropes, got me, some credibility, and now I do this. I go, hey, happy to help, a childhood friend, you know what I mean? So
nice.
You just have to really trust the person that you go on, because not everybody's going to give somebody that has zero experience a chance.
I tell people all the time, I feel like it's more who you know than what you know.
Exactly.
You know the right person, they have the right connections and experience. So same question to you, Lucas, because you were a banker at some point. So is it more the policy or the person you're working with in those kind of situations?
From the banking standpoint, you got to know your stuff. If you got an aggressive banker that knows the rules, the regs, and the ins and the outs of what you can do, then you can coach your consumer.
Mm-hmm.
If a lot of bankers don't get the experience or put the trainings in to understand that you can do X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to do this because this is what the policy and procedure and regulations say I can do. Okay, but they also say other things that they can do. So, I mean, you can use additional collateral. You can do, go into the whole global standpoint of their assets and figure out if there's something else you can lend against or something that shows strengths. I mean, we've talked about the 5 C's before on this when it comes to a banker, what they look for. if you get the right banker in the right organization, they'll play ball and they'll get creative with you. The organization and the training and the right banker, they can swoo the board a different way.
Yeah.
So, or swing, however you want to talk about it, because when you get into like right now, we both have a mutual banker that we're using right now. Their organization is literally puckering their butt right now and don't want to lend money, and they're putting terms on some of their lines and XYZ without even saying anything to the consumer.
Didn't make me very happy.
Yeah. And I had it.
Then the answer was, "Oh, it's going to take a couple weeks to get this refigured out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks for the phone call."
Yeah. Well, and this mutual banker I gave a call to, and I'm like, how is this getting termed out? I've been with you guys, 13 years, same line, everything that's going out. And she's like, and she was gone on vacation
every day.
Yeah. When
every
her friend, when another banker stepped in, he's like, yeah, you need to sign this. I'm like, I'm not signing this. and he's like, what do you mean you're not going to sign this? I go, no, I'm not signing this. This is getting termed out right now. And no, I've needed this line out here. I've had this line for 13 years, never missed a payment, anything like that on this line. I'm keeping this line. It's for our business.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that does make sense. I do see your history. I go, look how much other stuff I have with you guys. Why would you even consider this? He's like, well, this is what the board said. I'm like, because my banker was gone to be able to represent me at the board.
Yeah.
So they're going off strictly, this is what today's market look like. This is the policies of everything's going on. Here's what loan to value should be looking like. Not reappraising, not reassessing, not doing anything. They're just going off what the value was at 2000. Shoot, I've had it for 13 years. So whatever that brings it to, instead of actually doing a walkthrough. So like me as a banker, when I was a banker, and I do the same thing as a property manager, and property management's going crazy right now. We'll talk about that here in a second. But as a banker, we like to do walkthroughs, like to do visits. Go visit your collateral. Go see what you got out there. Because if they would do that, they would look and see that the portfolio's tripled since then, and this XYZ's gone on, and so on and so forth. But like we said, this organization is just going by the book. This is what's going on in the market. This is what we're doing with all of ours, not paying attention to two of their good customers that have been with them for a long time and done a lot of business with them. So sometimes you get you get to be just another peg on the board,
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So earlier you talked about you traveling to the hotel, and they kind of messed up the nostalgia, the historical structure. And when I was taking a class on the real estate stuff, they talked about like historical properties and like the places and lots that you can't touch. So I kind of want to talk about that. I want like Lucas to educate us on it, and then you talk about whether you purchase something and what you would do with it, because you were saying like all the different ideas you had just for the hotel room alone. So have you ever rented a property or purchased a property that just had an old school nostalgic feel to it, or what's the legalities when it comes to that kind of stuff?
So if it's in a historic, I've worked on my company's worked on several houses that were in historical districts. So there are rules usually with this historical society that you have to keep things a certain way, at least on the exterior of the place. But on the interior, usually there's zero rules what to do. And if somebody wants to take a place that used to be called the something something mansion, call it the whatever inn, and totally like devalue what the property like was, just by the name.
For example, Bruce Moore, I imagine that's probably historic.
So something like that. It's just generally speaking, anybody with common sense, when they're in real estate, would never take Bruce Moore and go gut that thing and make it their house. It just wouldn't make any sense. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But there would be no rules for anybody that would buy Bruce Moore other than keeping the exterior the same, saying it's part of the historical, district, to, leave the exterior the same and then go make it their house. Mm-hmm. You would just have to take like someone that doesn't know what the hell they're doing to go gut that place and not leave it, or make it for what it is, So, and you would hope in like situations like that where you have, someone that's part of the historical society or a board of investors and things like that go in there and do the right thing with the property like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can tell you right now, just based on the lack of marketing, based on the name of the place that I'm talking about, the fact that the Irish whatever, so on and so forth, had a parking lot full of people, and there's nothing about this place that wasn't nicer, except for some of the weird conversions, like with the bathrooms and stuff like that in there, which I get what they're doing, and what they tried to do there, but there's no reason that there's 2 customers there while there's 40 customers or 50 rooms filled at the other place, and they're the same price.
Right.
It's 100% marketing. I would have never found the inn, let alone stayed there, for its name and the fact that you couldn't find that unless you went to the direct website.
Right.
And nobody goes to a direct website anymore, when it's unless you're marketing that website specifically, and they're just not. So it's just a matter of bad marketing, not knowing what you're doing, and just wanting to invest your money into something and saying, I own this such and such mansion or this, that, or whatever. I mean, I don't really know the real story there. Like I said, there's some stuff in there that's off-camera story.
Yeah. Well, and the name does a lot. Name does a lot when you get into real estate and whatever not.
Yeah.
Especially when you're advertising a business. I mean, the prime example is and everyone that knows me, I'm a huge bakery guy. I love my bakery in the morning. And a good old pastry. And there's a place in Marion that is fantastic that's got a good bakery area that I drove by, I kid you not, every day for the last 2 years. And it's called the Eat Shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it says the Eat Shop on the outside. And then when you look at the fine print at the door on the inside, it says Eat Shop, a fine bakery. And the only reason I went in is because I was stopped at a stop sign because there was stupid construction on the road over that I would normally take.
And he likes to eat.
And I like to eat. And then I see it's a bakery, but just because it says the Eat Shop, I just drove by it for a year,
Yeah.
And if they would just put the bakery Eat Shop or something like that.
Or the girthy bastard.
Yes. Yes, that would get you in. I mean, so just the namesake alone, I cannot tell you how many people are probably like me that are like, okay, I guess I'm going to go over to Dunkin' Donuts, which is a half a block down the road, because I want breakfast.
Yeah.
Something like that. So the name, you get into Galena Inn or whatever you want to call it, you're thinking it's a local hotel that,
If you can even find it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not like... Well, even, you know what? It's harder to find this Irish whatever thing that I stayed at than the Galena Inn, honestly. So it was just a matter of marketing.
Yeah,
and it was crazy to me.
It sounds like themes and brands are just super important. And I think people, whether it's your property owner or business, you need to think about that. So I'll put the spotlight on you with AMMT, Always Making Money Team. I imagine that's the name I'm going to get a lot of people hired. Anybody who doesn't want to work for, something with that title. What was your thought process behind it and the branding?
So it's always making money today,
yeah.
because you never know of what the market's going to bring tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was team. Did you just make that up?
No. It's today. It's 13, 14 years in the making.
It's trust me.
I have to go back and some of the old posts.
The team switches up.
But and that's always been kind of my slogan. We're a one-stop shop. But everyone always asks, why'd you say always making money today? Because you just don't know what tomorrow is. And this last 2 years is a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
Is you don't know what the market's going to bring. I mean, this is by far the slowest closing month I've ever had in 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
Because everyone's waiting still. Everyone's still waiting to buy. I mean, we're showing properties every day.
Yeah,
the traffic is there.
Yeah.
There's a ton of traffic out there. There's just not a lot of people pulling triggers right now. So, and as soon as that pop happens with the rates, it's going to go nuts, as we've spoke before. But getting into kind of what Elias was talking about, the historical district. Elias, there's a lot of good incentives that the city of Cedar Rapids and the local markets have thrown out there too. There's grants, there's $15,000, $25,000 grants that if you're doing a restoration in historic areas now, they're giving you grants for it.
Yeah, but who wants to get a rectal exam from the city every time you do something?
And that is the reason why people won't use some of the grants, is because of the hoops you need to jump through. But the fact that it's being offered to keep the historic value of the property.
Yeah.
it also helps the person that actually wants to jump through those hoops.
Great, why don't you buy it?
Yeah. I don't got time for those.
No, I'm just saying. Why
doesn't
doesn't the city buy it? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. If you want the strict, like, give yourself an incentive. Charge rent.
They're not going to
Bring
do
some
the
revenue
work, but
in.
they're going to make sure you do it.
Drop
the way
that
they
local
want
option sales tax. Make some of your own money.
Yep.
You know, you were trying to rape me through the cameras.
Yeah.
I love it.
But there's also finance companies that are now that new Funding America or something like that. Anyways, they're here in town. They now are doing the grant process for these people, and it's part of their loan process. Obviously, it still takes a little longer on the process side of it, but you got someone that's actually going to navigate through the system for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to use them as your lender, obviously, to navigate on it. So they are starting to make some adjustments because a lot of people aren't buying up on the grant stuff because of the loopholes you have to jump through. It's like a nonprofit.
I do grants.
Yeah.
I do grants for artists and nonprofit. And it's a lot of, not only is it a lot of not loopholes, it's a lot of jumping through hoops, but it's also, it's not readily available information. Like, it's almost you need to know a guy that knows about these grants and then needs to know exactly what they want to hear. And it like, I had to get denied so many times to finally, and I just straight up, what is it that was wrong about, like, once I hold them accountable, then they give you the right answer.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, and after you give them all the right answers, there's this follow-up, and then there's this meeting and this training that you have to go through, and it's a lot of hoops. At the end of the day, especially for artists, it's worth it because we don't have a lot of opportunities to make money on our music nowadays. Like, they're paying us less than pennies for streams. But I could have, like, for our nonprofit, it's very annoying and frustrating to, like, dig and find the right grant that we can apply for, and then they give it to, not to throw shade, but like the Boys and Girls Club, or like just a already multi-million-dollar organization, and we're a startup, and we spend hours and hours not only doing the research but also finding the right person, the right answers, and the right writer. So grants are helpful, but you need to know a guy. Yep. Like, you just need to know a guy.
Well, we're not talking about Horace Grant.
Yeah, Horace Grant. Hey, what about Gary? So you got Monique and I got taken out to lunch, or not lunch, but a coffee. Thursday last week, something like that, because it was a gentleman out of a large construction company, and we were talking about his history. And so this is where property management's getting, you can tell it's going crazy, because we're meeting with investors almost every day. I'm 2-3 calls a day that I got new investors that are like, hey, I need you to walk my property. I want to switch from this management company to yours, XYZ. And that it's crazy. And then the first thing this guy said, I go, how did you find my name? He goes, well, Lucas, you know, your resume and on LinkedIn. I'm like, I haven't updated LinkedIn in 6 years, probably. He's like, yeah, but you've done a lot in your short time as an entrepreneur, and this and this and another. And you get a management company. How can we get all your construction side on the management side? And I'm like, well, and so I wanted to interview this guy and figure out why he's doing what he's doing too. And then he has, a degree from University of Northern Iowa, I do believe he said, for grant writing. I said, man, you do not understand the need for someone like you out there.
Yep.
I go, you need to reconsider your career, because you guys are few and far between out there in the world that's all they, that's what they studied. That's what they learned. They know all the grants. They know how to get the ins and the outs and how to help people write grants. I'm like, man, tell me when you're done doing what you're doing right now. What's your 5-year plan? Because I'm going to pick you up on year 4, and you're going to help me write grants. And
do you remember that guy that used to be on TV all the time that had the question marks all over, that sold the grant like books and things like that, the e-books and so on, or the programs?
No,
there was a guy. There was a question. The guy, I don't even remember what his name was, but it was about the same time as Don LaPree. Do you remember Don LaPree?
Yes.
Tiny classified ads from his 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy because property management, if you look at some of the big players that do the development in this area, is all grant driven. Like, the high properties and so on and so forth here. they're not using any of their own money. They're using grant money, and they're using, the fundings that come with it, and investors they can pull into a pool to help generate money, and so on and so forth. So there's so many creative ways to create new developments. And, if you stay below a certain percentage in your building at low income, or, $700 or less of rent, the state and the government will give you a grant to help build this buildings XYZ. Yeah. So there's so many loopholes. There's so many crazy things that just a lot of people don't know enough about. But once you get your pulse on it,
once you find your guy,
knows. Anyone that watches this that can help with grant writing, contact me directly.
This is now an ad.
You better not.
I am all about it. Manika is so excited about getting into the grant process. She doesn't even know.
Tell?
So let's get Manika on the
just
mic
like the
here.
management program.
So what do you think the market looks like? You've seen the swings this last month, so
I think it's holding up my vacations.
it is holding up your vacations. It is. She's like, we need to go for
because you're not generating revenue, or because you're so busy.
all the above.
Both.
Oh shit.
Both.
Okay.
Not enough. So we're doing good at it. That it pay bills and everything else.
Mhm.
But then it's like when we want to go take a vacation, now all of a sudden we gotta walk all this and return all these phone calls and do all of this.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to tell him that he just needs to go out of town, because every time we go out of town, he sells all these houses. But it's not working so far.
But listen though, sometimes, and I know he just sent me this Kobe Bryant thing, and I know it was like a little bit of a dig talking about, Kobe.
Come back to work.
Come back to this. So
It was good.
I'll
I
paraphrase
totally
it.
rescinded.
Yeah, but I was almost a little offended. I'm like, mother. You know how long nobody saw the 16, 18 hours a day that I put in since I was a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that. They just all seen all the things after the fact. Nobody sees the work you put in the studio. Nobody sees the extra. Nobody sees none of that.
I'm not late for no reason.
Exactly. Right. You know what? And if I need a break, even Mike took a year off, okay?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, I got ideas all day long, and they'll all work if I put my, mind to it. But if I need a break, I'm burnt out, and I'm not going to do nothing, and I'm not going to do 100
Take your break.
point. You have to recenter yourself. You have to regroup. You have to refocus. Because if you're always caught in the mix, if you're in the middle of a tornado, you don't know which way you're going to spin next.
Yeah,
but if you step out of a tornado, you see what the damage was, and you know how to clean it up.
Yep.
I think the problem is I'm asking you instead of just booking it like I normally do. I just got to book it and tell you you're going.
Well,
Lucas needs a man in his life.
We found a term for it. It's not a man, and it's not an asshole.
It's a bulldog.
An enforcer.
Oh, an enforcer. I'm sorry.
It's an enforcer.
Fucking call me a man.
We have some enforcers, and
he needs more masculine energy in his life, and so I'm going to tell him no.
An enforcer.
No, Lucas. No.
Is very
and
necessary.
You do that. It's masculine energy. What is it otherwise? Is it Mama says no? I mean, you could say that. Either way.
My Mama Bear. She's Mama Bear.
Yeah, but sometimes when Mama Bear's always growling, you don't know when to take it serious.
Don't nobody want to mess with Mama Bear.
I'm not always growling. I state facts.
Yeah, it's just Mama Bear growling again. That's what it comes across.
If you just listen and do
I've
things
been
right.
growled at all day.
You have not.
Sometimes,
I love you, baby.
hey, listen. So Lucas and I are a lot alike. There's a reason we're friends. Okay,
Yes,
we're a
so
lot
much.
alike, and we've deal with the same type of people, so on and so forth. When
They deal with the same type of people that drag me into it.
Well, but you weren't into it for how many years? You didn't see the things that we went through. You only seen a part of it. Okay, you came into our world.
Yeah, you came into like chapter 17. Don't judge the book by the chapter you walked in.
You keep
right.
Well, it's
He's
true.
trying to tell you
Well,
something.
I mean, is the chapter over?
No, it's not. So
it's the same book.
It's the same
still
book,
the same
and until
Any
you
new
clean
book.
that up, and until you write a different chapter, until you go different directions, until you
There may be a plot twist.
Yeah, there may be a
You
plot
can be
twist.
the plot twist.
Why can't you just do a new book? Like, at
No,
one
and-
point,
and
like,
no,
you're-
all
if
these
you're-
chapters.
If you're the main character in the story, If you're the main character in the story.
Hold on, we're not gonna just start a whole new book.
How many
No.
chapters?
Put a lot of
do you
chapters
need?
in it.
Yeah.
Hey,
no.
we got our.
We
own
haven't even
chapters.
published the shit yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, slow
Well,
down.
publish it. Like, God.
I don't know the ending.
Yeah.
Right.
And you'd have to label it
We
fiction
want a
half
lot
the
more
time,
chapters
and no one will
before
believe
Yeah.
it.
Do episodes to be continued.
Yeah, but you got to understand, you we're creating our own chapter on that, and there's people that always die off in movies and books and so on and so forth. We're just killing
I
off
know.
a chapter right now.
Manika's doing all the killing.
She's witnessing a lot too. So, but the kicker of the situation is, and we've talked about it in so many episodes, it's always pivoting. So like,
And you got to find out who brought the snakes on the plane.
yeah. How did they get there?
It's a prequel.
Well, and so like, Manika's over here scrubbing my arms because I got paint all over. At 6 o'clock this morning, I'm up painting the garage.
Yep.
But
And-
nobody sees that stuff. Nobody's seen the
No.
Cedar series. You're on a knee scooter laying tile
Yeah.
and this there. Nobody's seen you go up and down. Nobody's seen any of that.
Yeah, and we're
I
gonna
think
paint.
this
We're gonna paint 3 houses this week.
I think this week we painted 3 houses. We're
Yep.
going to do 3 houses and didn't have
and
to
then we're gonna do
clean.
deep cleans on another 2.
And then he took a break, which was like an hour and a half to go
Yeah.
train my nephew and them in the field
Yeah.
and do football stuff. And then came back to work to do a bunch of meetings. And I was like, I love it, but I don't really want to, I want to take my own little break, do my own little thing.
I feel like break is a common theme on this episode, and it needs to be talked about. My day to day, I think my daughter's birthday was yesterday.
Mhm.
I did the most, and that's
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
And I travel a lot, so it's like our day together. It's the most important day of the year. Is me and my daughter's day together. So, we had the birthday party, and then this morning I got a bunch of kids at my house that I'm responsible for. My younger daughter, my youngest daughter's mom was like, "You want to take her too?" And I'm like, I hate to say no. But if there is an option to not also have a 3-year-old and 5 10-year-olds, can you think about that a little bit? Like, I know I'm gonna be the bad guy. You're always the bad guy.
You are.
But like it's hard, So I got these kids to be responsible for. I got a meeting where we just finalized an album, which is a big deal, especially in the music industry. Some people record for years and never complete an album. We're probably both on our 10th album, me and Ike, and we're gonna have him on. I think next episode will be a lot of fun. But we're on our 10th album that we just completed today. I had another meeting with a guy, Marvin, and I'm helping him write a grant, and that takes a couple hours. And I've got to schedule the Iowa Music Awards tour. Hope to see you all there. It is November 9th this year
we'll
in
be there.
Burlington.
We'll be there.
And,
We'll be there.
We're going to have a kickoff. I had a meeting today with North Point.
Can I be your host?
Are you going to be nice to people? Host?
I am very nice.
Host is a very... Because you've got to be...
How about I be the
friendly.
host and she be the co-host?
I'm friendly.
This will be a very interesting show. I can tell you
That'll be a
that.
hell of a show.
I would love to invite you to host one of our tour shows, and we see how that goes.
Okay.
But
I'd
you
love to
need to
see
see
that
what
too.
these responsibilities are and the handshakes. And I'm tying all this in because my enforcer came through for me in a way I didn't approve and don't like, but it was effective. It's my daughter's birthday. I do a lot of work, and I'm also very empathetic. Like, we're in a time in the economy where everybody doesn't have the funds right away. So I will do some DJ work. I'm not advertising this, but I will do some DJ work on some, hey, I can pay you in 2 weeks. I can pay you, this day or whatever. That's perfectly fine. I don't expect to get paid right away with the way the economy is. And it's also sometimes nice to just get hit with something a week later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I almost forgot about that. And that helps out. So it's my daughter's birthday. I make a post like, hey, I got a lot of invoices out. If anybody can help me, it'll help her. I don't really care. I literally don't care. I've got funds in my pocket, but a little extra always helps. And then we can do something bigger. And my boy, Chuck, makes a post and he tags some important people with one of the companies that I hope hires me again. They probably won't. But I've been waiting on an invoice for over a month. Yeah, I'm probably fired. I've been waiting on an invoice for like over a month, and he tagged them in a very aggressive manner that is not Tone style. And like me and him get into it. We probably argue like 3 times a day. It's pretty bad. And yet still my best friend. Like we don't agree on a lot. And I don't know if it's an opposites thing, but it's my boy. But it got results, and it's, I know it's not the way that I would handle it. I feel like it's not the way Lucas would go about things. But, you know, those enforcers that get it done, that just care. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I will gladly and say to his face multiple times, look, Chuck is the biggest asshole I know. But he also has one of the biggest hearts out of all the people I know. And it's hard to get to that side of it. Like, you have to, it takes years to get to that side. And once you're there, that person has you for life. No matter how bad of an argument or situation. We've been in fist fights with each other and not speaking, and he still defends me and still will go out his way. Or if I needed something, he still will go out his way to protect, you know, my kids or to make sure that I'm good. And when you have one of those enforcers and one of those people that have your back, you cherish them and you defend them no matter how wrong they are. So I say all this to say, let's talk about our enforcers.
Motivators and enforcers. So Elias and I, we counter each other very well. And then Manika is by far my biggest enforcer. Elias is one that will shake me and he's like, what are you doing?
You're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Those are the words. It's not sugar-coated either.
No, it's not.
The extreme of it.
No, and we have the mutual respect to hear each other out because we both have had a lot of moments this last couple of years where we could be like, damn, that was wrong.
But you know,
that's life.
Sometimes those people will be the last person that you'll call because you know some shit's messed up, but sometimes you don't want to hear the shit because you think you can handle it yourself.
Yep. I will try to tell Chuck, hey, I need you to tell me that I'm wrong, but tell me this way. Tell me nicely. You don't get it that way.
Otherwise, you're going to piss me off.
You get it the worst way.
Otherwise, you're going to piss me off, and then I'm not going to like you, and then we're not going to talk for a while because I don't want to hear any more of your shit because I already fucking knew, and I just wanted to hear it a different way to make it make more sense to me so I knew I wasn't crazy.
Yep.
It sounds like you got 2 Chucks, Lucas.
I mean,
I do.
I am crazy.
Well, 3. There's the real Chuck. These 2.
Hey, no. I think no.
I mean,
you're not on Chuck's level?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I've seen you.
I am not.
I don't know. Would you rather have a pissed off Chuck or a pissed off Manika, Lucas?
Neither. They're
This is a trick question.
Yeah, I gotta
not have that day at all.
Yeah, I mean.
How about me?
You at least stay behind the scenes on it.
Oh yeah, I'm not going public on this shit.
Yeah, the other 2 will go public. It is definitely public.
I don't go.
You know what? Maybe that's my problem.
You saw
Maybe
the post the other day where I had to defend myself.
I saw it. Dude, I called him like, dude, Lucas never gets on and comments on anything, not even our shit. He made sure he cleared his name immediately. Whoa, whatever the fuck Chuck's talking about.
It ain't me.
That ain't me.
It ain't me.
I've never seen you do that.
Because a gal, so there was.
Oh my God.
Chuck is one of those that is very voices his opinion on what he feels right is in the community, and
he doesn't filter or think about how it's going to affect anybody. He's just speaking his truth, and he doesn't care if it's right or wrong. That's his truth at that moment, and he's going to say it.
And so someone's been saying, you know, it's going to hurt your business, it's hurting clientele. Don't speak what you're speaking, so on and so forth. And immediately, this gal thought it was his employer. And says, this is what your employer thinks of you in XYZ. And I'm the employer. And I said, absolutely not. This is, no. I go, we have said nothing about this. Chuck is who you get. You know what you sign up for, what you get. And we've taken that relationship and we've grown the real estate side off of that. And what he does from there, there's going to be boundaries that we have. But when it comes to public and your own opinion and it's out there, if it becomes a problem, it becomes a problem. But it's not a problem. So it's one of those things. No, this wasn't Lucas trying to put restraints on him. And for her to think someone's going to put restraints around Chuck it ain't happening.
You don't know Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like me trying to tell Monika what she needs to do. I mean, I don't know how many arguments me and her get into, and I go, it does not matter what I'm saying right now. You're
hearing blah blah blah.
It does not matter. And she gets a little twitch and a little smile on her face, and she goes, hey. I'm like, oh shit, because that is like her virtual punch in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is her.
She's punching you right now.
This is her having constraints. Now, 2 years ago, she didn't have these constraints.
No, you were getting actually punched in the face.
Yeah, now I'm actually getting a warning sign.
Oh,
he did not.
Progress,
no, baby. Yeah, thanks for the warning sign. And she getting that. You think you're fun? Oh shit! I mean, yeah, my bad. I should probably take a step back. And it's crazy. Like I can tell when Elias is on one.
Mm-hmm.
So he
knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
You look like somebody I don't want pissed on.
No,
like,
you don't. Don't get me activated. I'll tell you like it is.
Honest.
I'll tell you exactly like it is, and don't. Yeah, please. You don't want this smoke.
Yeah, I know. I can see it.
Well, yeah, and it's straight up, and he'll find your weakness, and he's just going to bury it. So he's going to be like, okay, you know, Eddie, you did a good job here, but what the fuck are you doing over here, and why are you doing this, and what are you thinking right now? Like, boy, this sucks, and I'm proud of it. I'm like, damn, you see what we did here, and he's like, it could have been 10 times better.
Yeah, that's Chuck. I just posted something I'm proud of. He's like, yeah, do that, but do it 5 times more. I was like, motherfucker, it took me a long time to get here.
Well, that's what I tried to tell this. Elias, I'm like, I understand you could have blown this up. I don't have that time.
No.
Yeah, you do.
And he shakes me. He just shakes me. So I appreciate it, you know.
But that challenge, how much it makes you better.
It does.
Every time. Just
he knows that. He knows that too.
As a businessman, as a human being, Chuck texted me today and shouted out, and I'll have to clip this. Shout out my boy Casper Alexander. He posted something. He said, after I stopped focusing on being a rapper, my life got much better. And he's like, Tone, you need to think like this. And I said, all right, Chuck. Yesterday, when I made the post about having $2,000 in invoices, you know who paid me right away? Somebody that paid me to rap a song, because I am focused on being a rapper, and I am proud that I'm a rapper. And it is in my community, it is very derogatory to meet somebody and be like, hey, I'm a rapper. That's not the move. You don't want to say that. I've made it where I'm beyond proud. And I don't even tell most people that I'm a rapper. When they find out the things that I've done and what I do with my music, then they get impressed. But, you know, so I end up responding. And I wasn't mad when he sent me that, but I was like, come on, Chuck. Like, this is, not only is it my bread and butter, but I love it. Don't make me not love what I love and that I am focused on. So, and he even responded like, okay, you got me this time. Like, all right, it does pay your bills and you are pretty good. You're all right. You know, that's the best you can get out of these guys.
That's talking to Elias. And sometimes with Monika, I just got to explain. I'm like, you know, I don't suck today.
Yeah, you know.
I do not tell you
I don't suck today. No, you guys don't say it directly. Just how you guys present something to you. It's like,
you talking. They be talking like you're talking to somebody that sucks.
Yeah.
And you know I don't.
Well, it was like today.
Yeah, but there's certain expectations that, you know, just like when you try to send me some shit. Yeah, just like when you try to tell me some shit talking about Kobe's not coming to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, Mike retired at one point to play baseball. He still came back and kicked everyone's ass, won 3 more championships.
He sure did.
Don't send me shit about Kobe and this and coming to the gym because I took some goddamn time off.
Well, let's talk about Eminem. I'm the biggest Eminem fan, and people are like, oh, this one wasn't this good. And even myself is like, it's better than everybody else, but like I have him to certain expectations because I know how dope he is. That it's hard. But like
if you're not in it, you gotta walk away. Otherwise, you're gonna produce nothing but shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Someone has to challenge you.
A half-ass is a half-ass. I mean, no matter who it's coming from.
So if you're not coming at it like, and I don't like to do anything that I'm not into. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I'm not into
I'm
it,
done with that.
then yeah. I don't play games I don't like to win.
Saturday, right? Yeah. I'm not doing shit else in life that I'm not enjoying or having fun doing.
And it's our birthday month, right?
You got
You
that
know,
right.
Leo, we
But
got two big
moving
cats.
forward, whatever. I don't know your number.
Two big-
I know mine. But I
think
know
you still are.
doing shit that I don't want to do no more.
Yeah, you're gonna get that. Oh, I feel so bad, and they told me
No
No,
more.
but
No.
but the,
Not
the,
me.
the
They
other
both
side.
are. They both.
The
are
other side
victims
of that
this.
is I feel
he's
good
definitely
helping
gonna
people.
do it.
I feel good
You think
helping
so?
people.
Now that's a challenge. I'll show you different.
But for money, I'm not doing anything I don't want to do anymore.
Bang.
But if it's something that they really need me to DJ this 8-hour event outside, but it's for homeless kids, I'ma fucking do it. I don't
It's
want
not gonna be for homeless kids. They're gonna they're gonna have some. Oh, my DJ left last minute. Tone, you're the best. Mama. Oh, all right, man. I'm gonna be there.
I'm gonna
Let me push
No,
some
I'm saying
stuff to
I
the
will do that.
side.
I'm admitting I will do that. But if it's a paid gig that I don't want to do, I'm not doing.
It's gonna be a paid
If it's
gig that
something
you don't
that
want to
pulls the
do.
heartstrings.
Nope, it's gonna
But
be a
here's the
paid
thing,
gig.
so I got you on this because we had one of these moments today.
Yeah, I knew I knew this is
Yes.
from a real thing. She's
So-
not arguing with me. She's arguing with you.
So today is supposed to be our day off. You know, Wednesday's our date day, their day off, so on and so forth. And of course, I'm up at
Haven't had a day off.
6 painting a garage, so on and so forth. And we're driving down, and I am
See, we
buried.
need to talk.
I am buried with buyers and sellers right now. So
Yeah.
I'm texting one of them and I'm voice texting it, which is the wrong thing to do around Monica because she hears what I say. And she's immediately correcting it. She's like, why would you say that? You just keep it simple on this. I'm like, well, I need to keep this one on the hook over here and let them know exactly what's going on. And then I stop myself and I'm like, you know what? I've been pretty good at this for the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, are you licensed?
You're coaching me
You're coaching
on me.
You're coaching
that
me
has
on
worked and is successful as the way.
Yeah, and I go, Monica, so tell me how I should do my job.
Yeah.
Whatever, just send it. Just,
I am probably one of your best realtor. I'm probably one of your best agents that's not an agent that you have. So don't come for me.
Hey, we weren't coming from you. We were just using
Now I got questions for Monica. I'm sorry. Now the spotlight's on you. All right.
No.
The last 2 episodes, we talked about the sandwich method. Do you remember the sandwich method? And
Yes.
have you tried it?
I don't like the way this sounds. Do I need to leave the room?
Be mean. Be nice. You
You're
gotta
part
be
of the
nice.
sandwich.
Yeah. You need to learn the sandwich method
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
you need to learn
and
it.
I was thinking that too after you gave your stories. Like, let's teach it to
Yeah.
Elias, but first, have you done it and what?
Nice, mean, nice.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I
But
thought
not
it said a hot
necessarily
dog in the bun.
mean.
No.
It's
Well,
your
it came from
truth,
that.
which always comes off mean. But
it's the truth.
give them something nice. Give them what you want to address, and then give them something nice again.
I've done that. So, like,
Has she? Lucas gave you a look that answered that question.
I have. It's
You know what? I'm
so
going to give you
hard.
your flowers. You have gotten a lot better over the last few years.
She
Me?
has. I've watched.
Yeah.
Thank you. Somebody give me my
She
flowers.
has.
She has. I agree.
I have, like, okay, like, for instance, the person that's not here today, I was very nice, and I just, did not respond.
You didn't say what you
I'm
thought.
dead.
I didn't say anything at all.
We were by Quick Start today,
Yeah.
and you remember the analogy we left: if you stab them with a big sword, and if you stab them with a medium knife, and you stab them with that,
That's different.
that they should feel different. She's like, I'm getting better because I didn't stab you with the big sword, you know. It's still a stab.
I didn't cut your arm
That's
and cut
it.
your finger.
Yeah, I'm still stabbed.
bleeding.
That's
So
different.
today we were talking to similar. She had a similar. She was mocking me on something,
Mhm.
tearing me down on something. I'm like, damn, that hurt. And
no.
she goes,
No, I yelled at you because you got mad at me because somebody put their nose in something that had nothing to do with them. And now the day got shifted and got messed up. And you're in charge of this and you're supposed to do this. And you told him.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
tell him anything because I did not talk to him. I didn't tell him to do nothing. So I did my shit. Don't come at me because somebody else decided to stick their nose somewhere where it don't belong. So the next time you yell at me, correct yourself. Know what you're talking about. I did what I was supposed to do.
yeah, that was one of the instances. This was not the incident we were talking about. Yeah, that was one. When we get on long car drives and walk in a lot of houses and go into a lot of places, we get to experience. I mean, it's a roller coaster. It's amazing. I guess that's when you know you got your partners because you can take those roller coasters and at the end of the day we can sit and talk and laugh about them.
Yep.
So in the best way, and Elias, this is, you know it just as well as I do, is when you travel and you get someone in the car with you that experience you can have in the area because you're both trapped in that car. You got
Mhm.
it. And
Yeah,
we're there for 8 days. We're going to figure this
this
or
out.
8 hours.
No,
We're
we
going to
mad
figure
for
this
8
out. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And sometimes some honesty needs to come out, and I'm not receptive to a lot of the honesty because I'm very prideful in what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And she opens my eyes on that, and so does Elias. They both just are like, okay, you're good, but you suck still at the same time.
I don't tell you suck. What I tell you on a lot of things, like when it comes to property management, I tell you, like, I personally just feel like you should exit yourself. That's not saying that you need to not do it. I just feel like you should not be the go-to. Your focus is real estate. You enjoy real estate.
I agree.
So let someone else take over the property management because then you can do what you truly love to do and you can focus on what you can do. You can't focus on what you want to do because you're too busy babysitting Dodo and Dum Dum.
You can be an owner of a casino, but you don't have to be the blackjack dealer.
Yes.
Ooh,
There you go.
This is all right. So this is why the enforcers are so important because there's nothing more true than that statement. Not only that we don't have to do that, but that we are both the owner of the casino and the blackjack dealer.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
And
it's so. And I'm gonna ask Lucas this, and this is really to help me. Like, how do you? I'm gonna sound cocky, and I don't care. How do you know that you're the best at what you do, or the only one that does what you do the way you do it, and still take the feedback and not be offended by it? Because it's like, we both know we're the best at what we do. Mm-hmm. And number one, our enforcers know how to humble us.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, sometimes we just want them to acknowledge, you do know I'm the best, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But most people don't understand, and it sounds too cocky. So, like,
I don't think
how do you
it's
navigate
humbling,
that?
though.
But none of that.
I feel like you guys
guess
are
what?
the guys that keep us in check,
But guess
which
what?
is needed.
As a business owner, as anybody that does anything in any of those things, because it's a mentality you have to have, whether it's true or not. Because you're always going to find something that's better at anything that you do, no matter what. And otherwise, you have no bars and nothing to prove yourself. I personally, and that's why I need some time off. I had nothing else I needed to prove to myself or anybody else. And if anybody has anything to fucking say about me, check my resume and the shit that I've done. So you know what?
Right.
If I want to go on a 3-month drinking fucking binge, God damn it, I earned it. Because while you were sitting at home fucking collecting unemployment, while you were sitting there fighting out, woe is me, couldn't pay that fucking bill, I was busting my ass to make sure that I got to that level. And when I did, and everybody else looking behind me like, how do you get this? He must be a drug dealer. He must be this. He must be that. He must be, he's like, I don't know what he's doing. Kiss my ass. You didn't see the work I put in.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, and that's how you got to stay humble, though. And that's where we need our humbling. And it's crazy when she says, I don't call it humbling because she doesn't feel what we feel, you know? I mean, that's a progress in place with her. It's like, quit trying to assume what we feel.
I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm telling you how I feel.
Why are you telling me how I feel?
How are you going to tell me I don't feel humble?
Because I feel like what you're trying to say, I'm humbling you, that I'm trying to, like, I'm coming for you. And I'm not coming for you in that kind of way. I'm more so trying to help you.
Well, that's what humbling is. Because, all right, so I'm going to just be
because if I humble you, I'm going to humble you. Like, I'm going to settle you down.
No.
Like,
You can't
let me explain.
Two different types of
Let me
humbling.
explain it in black people terms, Monica. There's coming for you and there's humbling you. Coming for you is, I'm going to tell you all your flaws. I am trying to hurt you. Humbling you is, you are good, you can be better, and I'm helping you be better. Here are the things you need to improve on. There's things you can improve on, but coming for you, I'm gonna tell you about yourself.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it sometimes.
Again,
I don't need you to come for me.
So
but
again, Lucas feels that my humbling, I am coming for him. So
no,
that's why you
gotta differentiate.
Honey, be real. Be real.
I am being real.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you don't need to hear the shit at the time you say it, though.
Yes, yeah.
You don't pour more gasoline on the fire while it's
Maybe
burning.
that's what it is. My humbling.
Yes,
but
it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
This is the prime example.
Yes.
But the thing of it is, and this is a good way to kind of segue to, you know, our next area of this, and whether we're wrapping it up or what we're doing is...
It's hot. We should wrap up.
It is super hot in here. It is.
I came in here
It's hot
thinking
outside. We're not going to walk out to anything better.
I just came in here thinking I took a shower in here because I'm
I
soaked.
think that King logo is tattooed on you now.
It is now.
This
is part of my body now. This shirt won't ever come off.
That's a great vision. Yeah. So
you are a
perfect
sicko.
visual. This is what we wanted.
Yeah. Anyway, so with you know, that's where Elias and Monica are great, and that's why Elias has been a great businessman, is because he has taken what he's heard on the negative side and turned it into a positive. He's also learned from the mistakes, and us as business owners, if we're not making mistakes, we're not succeeding.
And if we're not learning, we're not growing.
Yeah, and you have to fail in order to succeed.
And if you keep sticking me with them,
that was good. We were going back and forth for a second. That was just really good.
It's so true.
Hell, for real.
Look at your best basketball player, Michael Jordan. You know, best of all time. What was his shooting percentage?
It was like 42.3 or 42.6.
Yeah,
why'd you just say that? It wasn't Kobe's. What was that?
So
he's a hater.
37.8.
Yeah. So you're
Can't
talking
help it.
42% is his percentage. That means he failed what?
58
times. 58% of the time. So more likely he was going to fail when that ball left his hand than he was going to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But he learned. He learned how to, you know, get to the rim. He learned how to adjust the shot.
When he was always pivoting.
Always
pivoting, but he had good players around him. And he had a team that he built and he commanded respect from.
I'm going to sip some of this, which we haven't shouted out yet.
But what that means is if you don't have the right people around you, you can only do so many things on your own.
You know, maybe that means that you don't have the right people around me at the property management because somehow people are already getting their feelings hurt.
But he's succeeding and has succeeded for the last 14, 15 years.
No.
But he could be doing better.
No, I said around I said around me.
Now, all right, we talked about Kobe.
But he
Michael.
needs a break.
I feel like this is LeBron. This is the
Cavs.
Cavs.
No, the hell I'm not.
He went to Miami, and then, you got a ring.
Because he had to have better people around him because he couldn't do it
him.
all on his own. And he was scared to do the things that he needed to do
He's a
to
crybaby.
come in the clutch. Damn. He needed to fall down and cry and have it be someone else's fault. Why
he got
the ball
really
didn't
far
go
by
in.
himself, but when he had the right team,
he was able to win.
And the kicker to everything is, and you're right, it's relationships. It's the relationships you build. It's the relationships you're willing to put behind you.
Yep.
And the ones that make you successful are the ones that you can pivot away from and put behind you. Once you put those relationships behind you and see, like you said, step outside that tornado and actually see the damage that was caused. Yeah. That I look forward to. I bet Elias's next 5 years of business is probably going to be his best businesses that he's ever had. I will make that prediction right now just because of the changes he's made in his business and taking that step away and saw how successful he was, but also saw that there's areas of improvements. I look forward to your next 5 years. I think it's probably going to be your best 5 years of your life, career, personally, and business, and that's scary
because he's already
killed it. He's already killed it. So. Yeah, I'm so excited for it.
Something I took away from this episode, and I want you guys to elaborate on as we wrap up, is the taking a break. Not necessarily me or Lucas need to talk about it, but Elias and Monica should address why it's important. Because you talked about people being scared to take a break, almost the FOMO, fear of missing out, and I realized how healthy it is. Like I said, I've lost like 15 pounds. I haven't been to the gym in I don't know how long, but just taking a break from alcohol. And I went and saw my health advisor yesterday who told me, stop trying to cold turkey everything. Like, it's okay to have a drink. Do you enjoy yourself when you have a drink? Hell yeah. He's like, have that drink. Stop beating yourself up. Like, what am I going to do on this podcast? I like to drink. We have fun. But I got this event. I shouldn't have a drink because I want to lose weight. Like, no. Have your drink. Lose your weight progressively, but don't stop the things that you love because mentally you're going to ruin yourself.
Exactly.
And I know when it comes to business, if I'm not always doing If I don't have 4 or 5 meetings a day, then I feel like a failure. Literally, I feel gross. How can I look at myself? Like, I consider myself a father, a provider, a leader, a mentor. I help so many people. If I take a day off, I feel, like I said, I feel gross. But you brought up multiple times, I just took a break. I went to Galena, I went to Daytona, and like, you know, I was just on this tour, and like, I would have loved to just be on this tour and enjoy myself, and I had the opportunity to do that, but I'm like, I gotta work. I gotta be fulfilled. I gotta feel like I played a role in the success of what's going on. Talk to us about taking a break. I want to hear from you and Monica and why this is so important.
Well, again, like I said, I'll continue to use the Michael Jordan reference, you know, because it takes a mentality.
That's a dig. I can tell. Let's talk about Michael.
No, I'm just saying,
man.
like,
I can respect it.
Pull the mic close. Pull the mic in for this one.
But no, seriously, it's the same thing. Like, when you no longer have anything to prove to yourself, or you get to the point where you continue to do the same things over and over and over and expect a different result and want things to get better, whether that's losing some weight and you continue to go to the gym and then go eat 10 cakes afterwards. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, that's not going to do what you're looking to do, but you're going to keep in that repetitive cycle. You feel good in the moment because you went through the workout and this, that, or whatever, your own selfish mentality or whatever the case may be you thought you were doing. You know, maybe you weren't getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but you were maintaining. So you can't grow unless you do something different. And business owners and, you know, people that, you know, put a lot of effort into something and become successful, what they really are, they're gamblers, because you're either gambling on people, you're either gambling on yourself, or you're gambling on the time that you spend doing something.
Okay.
So that's the only difference. So if you work for somebody and that's all you ever want, you're not gambling on anything other than somebody else that gambled on themselves, right?
Ooh, let's talk about it.
It's true.
And that's it.
Yep.
Luke,
That's it.
Oh, no, Monica. Sorry. Monica.
What?
Why are breaks important? Why do Lucas need to take a break?
Lucas does need to take a break.
He needs to
because
step
he
away
needs
from
to
himself.
Yeah, he needs to recenter himself. He sits there and, like, for instance, he doesn't go to sleep till like 4 o'clock in the morning, though he takes a sleeping pill because his mind just goes and goes and goes, and he doesn't shut it off. And it's like, at some point you have to have a shut off point, because if you keep going and going and going, at what point are you taking time for yourself? And then your body's going to go into overdraft, and your body's going to eventually just shut down on its own for you because you're not giving it that break. So your mental health and your physical, it's very important to you. So like I tell them a lot of times, if you don't take the time, you take the time for what's important to you.
Right.
If this is important to you and this is what you want to do, you make the time. He always tells me, I don't have the time. You make the time for what you want. You make the time for what's important.
Breaks aren't prioritized.
Breaks need to be prioritized.
What if
because
it's just never been?
What if you're going and going and going, and your daughter wants to do, not even your daughter, you're going and going and going, and instead of taking a break to get yourself where you need to be and get yourself recentered and get yourself refocused, but you decide to work, I don't know, 100 hours in, I don't know, 3 days. Your daughter has this big old event that she has coming up, but yet you haven't really rested, but you're also not going to miss it. You go to it and boom, you pass out or something. Your body just shuts down. You drop.
If I could figure a way to add 40 hours into 3 days,
I could tell you exactly how to do it.
That's why
I know.
How do we create 40 more hours? That's amazing.
You just that part
put in your
out.
time in the
My
shit
day
you
would
can
be great.
avoid. Quit putting your time in the shit you can avoid.
You're
Delegate.
But what would you
That's
do?
15 hours a day that I got to figure out.
What would you do?
If I get extra 15 hours in a day, oh my goodness.
And the
gracious.
consequences is I passed out. Hey, baby, I'm sorry, but
It's
look
not
at this
pa-
life.
Look at this. Oh my
Your
God.
consequences.
I'm sorry.
When your body shuts down,
that'd be
you
amazing.
never know how
I've been
it's going to
trying
go.
But it has, Lucas, we've been injured out of nowhere, and it's because of us working too much and not taking care of our body as much.
Well,
And it's almost like
Lucas' body,
I've
I
worked
think,
hard
shut
enough
down, what was it, a couple of years ago, and he slept literally, nothing, like 13
you just
hours
had an
and didn't
injury
even know
or
it.
a tooth
wasn't
or something, you had to
it's
go to the
fine.
dentist.
Yeah.
Like, we have, it happens to us, and we almost...
It
And it's-
happens, but you need to make time for yourself. How are you making time for other people when you can't even give yourself that time? You need to value yourself just like you value everything else you do.
the kicker is, and it's funny, when I go on vacation, and which is few and far between, it usually those first 2 days, and like I used to take fishing trips all the time. I'm a diehard fisherman. My buddies thought I was like narcoleptic or whatever that is when
you just don't sleep.
Well, no, that's where you just pass out. So when I was on vacation, and I was actually vacation, and I'm 8 hours away from here, and I couldn't do nothing about it. If something was going wrong, I couldn't do nothing about it. So we'd go from lake to lake, or even get on the boat and get to our fishing spots. And sometimes it'd take 30 minutes to get to the next fishing spot. I'd be passed the hell out in the first 2 minutes, and I'd sleep the whole 30 minutes. And they got to wake me up. Hey, it's time to fish, and because
but
they
want to know why?
Because I shut down. My body shuts down.
Yeah, but do you want to know why? It's because you weren't able to do that because you didn't trust that you had the right people around you to do something about it when you were gone.
It's true. That's true.
So when Pat was around, I could I knew I had a guy that was solid. Give him a call 24/7.
Like
he was going to get something done. And you've got the right people around because you've got another person in place that doesn't matter whether you're there or not. You need a consultation. Call me. And as the owner, you don't see the Jerry Reinsdorfs and this, that, or whatever sitting on the sidelines. Mark Cuban was the only one.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Mark Cuban just did it because he loved the game and, whatever. But at the end of the day, he still wasn't coaching.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably your biggest thing, too, because a lot of the people that we deal with just does not have common sense for some odd reason. And it's like, oh, my God. I can't even leave for 2 hours, and you guys calling me about something that you should know. So I think that's another reason why he does not take vacations, and that's why I say I literally have to book him and be like, we're leaving.
And it has to happen at that
And
point.
he does it, and he has a good time. He relaxes.
Yep.
He has a good time. He doesn't think about anything. I think I give him 2 hours. We had a rule. You get 2 hours a day on your phone. You do your work, and then you put your phone down, and you just enjoy it. And then he refreshes his mind. He comes back fucking fantastic, better than ever, ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's okay. No one's asking you to take a whole week. Take a day.
Literally, I was at my best when I would take 3 vacations a month.
3 a month. Yeah.
3 a month. I was at my best when I would take 3 vacations a month. And I would still work on those vacations, but
of course,
I'd be looking at an ocean, and it wouldn't matter, because it's different. It's a different setting. Because physically, there's nothing you can do. But if you don't have the right people in your corner, you can't do that because you don't have those people. So you have to be there. You have to this, and that's where you're like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Because that's not any quality of life. I've already, proven to myself, gotten to the point where no one ever thought I would.
Which brings out why he doesn't need to do company management.
Well, exactly. Like I said.
You're trying to change what?
No. We're not. That's not what we're saying.
That doesn't mean he can't be the casino
He's
owner.
Still the owner.
But he doesn't need to be the blackjack
He doesn't
player.
need to. They don't.
I respect that.
They don't need to contact. They don't need to contact him. You have a person that you contact. You don't need to be bothering the owner with something you should know. If it's real estate, okay, I get it because that's your biggest. But come on now.
All right, so I gave you guys credit as being the enforcers, being the humblers, and you are very much a needed part. I do have to give Lucas credit on something that I realized today that I don't think most people understand, and I think that does make us an exception. Not that, but we are an exception. Is that when you talked about the voice message and how you talk to that person, I realized I had like an epiphany that we speak the language of everybody, of different people. Every single person has a different language, and we talk to them different, and it is literally probably what makes them happy or what makes the deal.
Correct.
And I feel like our enforcers are comfortable with talking their way, which is a fucking superpower. Yep. Sorry, I didn't try not to cuss as much on this podcast, but like, you guys get to be yourselves like 90% of the time, all the time. And I feel like, yes, I'm jealous too. When you said that, I knew. I'm like, we are the same. And it's Chuck. Chuck is Chuck every. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to go. But like everywhere he goes, he's always Chuck. I think Manika is Manika.
Yep.
Elias is Elias. And me and Lucas are 8,000 different people. Whoever we're communicating with, we are who you guys need to trust and be with, and you can trust us, and we are good people, but we are going to convert to whatever how you need to hear it. Yep. We're translating your language to that. And when you guys hear it, it sounds like, why the fuck would you do that? Why would you say that?
Yeah, why are you saying that? Are you really going to use that tone?
But our results speak for themselves. It works.
Yep. And these guys are very good at just sliding something over to the table, and you remember when they did this to you.
Yes. Oh, they won't let you forget. Remember when you said that bitch ass? After they said this to you, I would never do that. And I'm jealous of it.
Yeah.
But I also know this is also our superpower. That it is why we've been so successful for so long. But you guys have your superpower why you're so successful because they know who they're getting every time. With me, I can't tell you who you're going to get from me. You're going to get what needs to be gotten. And it's going to work.
I'm doing really good. Like, I'm like...
This isn't a bad thing.
I know.
I'm
saying, like, I'm like working on being a little bit, for office-wise a little. But
what would you prefer? And I think, I hope I know the answer, but I think you prefer to know what you're going to get every time, and that's why you yourself in every situation. No, I think Elias, it's the same. It's you know what you're going to get with me every single time. I can tell you, me personally, I don't even know what I'm going to give you, but I'm going to give you what I think works.
Oh, that's a loaded question. Are you seriously asking these two? They're going to.
I want them to agree with us, and then maybe they can understand us a little better.
I want people to have like just basic common sense, like not even the whole day.
Your
just
common
like when
sense
you're talking
is different
to me.
from everyone else's.
No,
common sense.
I don't.
You have knowledge and experience that people don't have in their life. So your common sense is your common sense.
Well, like for instance, there's this girl that told my sister that I suck at my job. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, she said she used to be a tenant. I said, well, if she was a tenant and she's telling me I suck at my job, I'm actually pretty damn good because, I put your ass out and you're no longer there. So, sorry.
And then that's
sorry.
where I step in. I'm like, maybe she paid rent on time for 9 months and she had a bad month.
Sorry, not sorry. Something in life happens to everyone.
And in my situation, I'm like, why are they 3 months behind and I haven't got paid shit and are they still in my motherfucking house?
Yes.
And that's
true too.
By the time you get to me and you're a tenant, that means you're in a dog shit. So that means
you shouldn't even got to me.
You shouldn't have got to me because I don't deal with.
I'm the enforcer.
I don't deal with you. I don't deal with you. So.
Why did I hire you to be the in between, and I'm still having to be like, why do they still have? Why are they there?
So they get mad at me.
Why are you taking any part of my money for me to cuss you out?
Yeah, they get mad at me and they be like, well, she suck at her job. Actually, I'm pretty damn good because what I do is my job. Like, it is my job to be the enforcer. It is my job to put your ass out of that place and on that curb. So however it means you're going to get there, trust me, you're going to get there.
Lucas be like, well, their third aunt just passed away and it's a hard month and next month won't be that. Even though you and Elias probably know every month's about to be that. Take care of it.
Well,
save it up.
My job is to minimize their risk and minimize their loss.
Yeah.
And sometimes in order to do that is...
This shouldn't be your job at all.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I
don't know if we're still recording. Okay, we are. I'm sorry. I hope that got on going. I literally spit my drink out. Oh my God.
That summarizes it all.
Yes, it does. Oh my God. Wrap it up. I couldn't even.
We're going to leave it right there. Because if I make some of the moves that you guys would make in that situation,
there would be no business.
Or you would cut your loss right there.
I think you're worried about the wrong things.
Yes, and
there would be business because someone always need a place to stay.
I love you guys as well. This is my favorite episode. What are we drinking? That's the last thing. Jefferson's Reserve.
Yep.
What is this?
Single batch, and Manika brought that back. She just likes mixing it with her lemonade.
It's really good. That Crown Royal Blackberry.
Yes.
This has been my favorite episode of Whiskey and Real Estate.
It's real. I love it.
Oh, it's so real.
Yeah.
You got me on 2 hours of sleep too.
Yes. Pour a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I was on vacation, so I feel great.
So let's have a cheer.
Yes,
happy
please.
birthday.
Happy mutual
Yes.
birthday.
Yep.
Yes,
Elias,
Home birthday
Elias
party is Saturday.
and
Tone,
Tone's
July
birthday.
26th. Leo's in the house.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
see the King
Two
shirt.
big cats.
King Gucci. Come out. It's a free party. I'm going to get this episode out Friday just so you guys can come out the next day.
Yep.
Let's have a
Boom.
good time. Thank you. Whiskey and Real Estate. I got to write some stuff.
There you go. That was great.
Y'all are annoying.
That was...
Oh, you